coast. Illegal immigration in the United States is the subject of much attention this morning. That's because the Trump administration says ICE agents today are expected to carry out raids today and possibly throughout the country.
People come into our country illegally. We're taking them out legally. It's very simple.
The president announced mass arrests and mass deportations. He has set this fear across America that is breaking the hearts of so many.
Well, these raids are expected to target 9 cities, including Baltimore, Maryland. We want to dive into this issue from both sides. Joining us this morning, RJ Hauman. He is a government relations director with the Federation for American Immigration Reform, FAIR. And Royce Murray, she's the managing director of programs at the American Immigration Council. We thank you both for coming in. Obviously, this has been a very heated time as people have discussed this. RJ, let me get to the heart of the question about what's going to happen today, if this does happen today. What's the point of announcing a raid?
Well, right now, he's just showing the difference between him and his administration, a lot of the Democrats on this issue. Right now, President Trump is doing what previous administrations did. President Obama deported around 3 million people.
I know that, but we're talking about President Trump's administration here, not Obama's. I'm getting at the point here of why are you announcing a sneak attack? Aren't you, by announcing it, by saying what day it starts, by going into the details of who you're looking for, weaken the effectiveness of this operation if you are actually trying to get people off the streets?
I think you can acknowledge it's a little bit of a mistake as well, given especially the response to it, the outrage by a lot of activists and people on the left. You could be putting a lot of these law enforcement officers in danger. They're going after criminals, people with final orders of removal. There's about 1.1 million of those people in the country. This is a federal agency just enforcing federal immigration laws.
We know that it started off as 1 million. Now we're told it's down about 2,000. Royce, let me ask you this. We saw police departments throughout the Washington, D.C. area, Maryland, say this week that our departments are not going to cooperate with ICE. We are not going to enforce federal immigration detainers. Isn't it the job of police to enforce laws?
It's the job of the police to enforce the criminal laws. It's immigration enforcement's job to enforce the immigration laws. The police need to make sure the communities feel safe and trust them to come forward. And if they cooperate in immigration enforcement, they're putting that at real risk. I
spoke to some people in the pro-immigration side this week, and they said that they've been receiving constant calls from people who are concerned about their own status, and not even in some cases people who are illegal immigrants to this country. People who hold green cards are concerned. What are you hearing in the immigrant community right now about the level of apprehension that they're facing in regards to the possibility of these raids starting?
Well, with all of the attention that these raids have gotten for many weeks now, to your earlier point, there's an incredible amount of fear, and a lot of families live in mixed status households where you have everyone from someone who's undocumented to a U.S. citizen. And so the fear is palpable across communities, and the only reason I can think why the president has tweeted about these raids is to sow this kind of fear.
So, RJ, in that respect, though, is the president already been successful in one regards of keeping this issue front and center and retaining the attention of the American people on the immigration issue, because it has been central to his political platform from the very day he announced for the presidency in 2015.
Yeah, politically it will have benefits as well, because now Democrats are even taking these open border stance, want to decriminalize illegal entry and things like that. But I do think the response that he's getting here could exacerbate the problem. A lot of these people have had their asylum process go through, they've had their claims denied, and if you know if people call that they cannot be deported, why wouldn't you come here? If you're an economic migrant from Central America, you're from anywhere in the world, you can come here and you likely won't get deported. People are calling that something that can't happen.
A lot has been made about these detentions lately. I want to show some video. This was the Vice President of the United States this week touring one of these border facilities earlier in this week. One of the reasons we are now processing people in this way is because a program called Catch and Release has ended under the Trump administration. You were apprehended, you were given a court date, you were told to return. In many cases, people did not return. Now, families are being detained, separated. They are being held in facilities like this. Royce, if somebody is given a court date and they do not show up for that court date, and then they just go into the United States, we don't know where they are, we don't know what they're doing, isn't that an example of a broken process? If they have to go down across the country and find these people if they've not responded to the legal court date they were given?
You're right that the process is indeed very broken, and many families, thousands of families, have not been given notice of their hearings. They were given notices that had false dates, that were empty of the dates, that were sent to the wrong address. So we have a lot of families who don't actually know when their court dates are and don't know that they have removal orders right now. We need to fix that in order to fix the system.
RJ, when you see those pictures and you see those kids, I don't think you can look at some of these children and look into their eyes and feel in some way that they are threatening to us.
No, absolutely.
How do you react when you see this? Obviously, you're very strident about the fact that we need tough immigration reform. But when you see that kind of video, does that help or hurt your argument?
No, I don't think it does at all. Again, we supported a lot of that humanitarian funding to go down to the border as well. But when you're talking the humanitarian issue, the real humanitarian crisis is the trip that these children and their families take up here to the U.S. border. They're dealing with cartels, smugglers, traffickers, some of the most dangerous people in the world, getting on that train called the Beast. It is a terrible situation on their way up here. To truly look out for the humanitarian issue here, we need to turn off the flow of the migrants coming.
Real quick, can I get one area of agreement from both of you? Would it make sense if we conducted some type of Marshall Plan in these countries to make their economic conditions better, that these people don't flee their homeland? Would that be a wise investment of money rather than having to cage up people?
No doubt. We have to invest in fixing root causes.
Would it be better?
I think it would be helpful as well, because the crime rate has dropped. They're still coming. It's an economic issue at heart now.
Make their lives better there, then maybe they'll stay.
Absolutely.
All right. We have more to talk about on this, and we thank you both for joining us.